I've seen enough. Jacob Fatu deserves a main event push after WrestleMania. Yet another women's mid-card champion has lost a non-title match, and Charlotte Flair has decided that she will be challenging Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. I'm Ben Allison, you are watching Allison Analysis, and here are my 5 key findings from last night's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. In at number 5, the LA Knight and Miz promo was great. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm not always the biggest fan of LA Knight promos. More often than not, it kind of feels like the same thing every single week, the same catchphrases, all of that fluff. It just doesn't really get me invested in anything. But when he does have something to say and goes past all those catchphrases, man, is this guy good on the mic, and last night it was absolutely the case. And this also felt like a side to The Miz that we haven't seen in quite some time. I mean, for the past year or so, we really haven't seen this side to him. The Final Testament feud I did actually enjoy, but it wasn't this Miz. And this Miz is the best Miz. And I'm not gonna lie, I was actually kind of gutted when this became a match after their promo last night, because during the promo, I was like, this has to be the WrestleMania match. In reality, there probably isn't space on the card for it, and the match they put on was fine, right? But the promo battle was exceptional. LA Knight is the new #1 contender for Shinsuke Nakamura, and honestly, I have no idea if he's gonna win it or not, and I'm not entirely sure if I care either. I'm a big Shinsuke Nakamura guy. His look right now is fantastic. Since he's come back, he has looked great. But here is the issue. We haven't actually been given a reason to care for this title reign. They just haven't booked him to do anything. It's like the title's played second fiddle to itself almost. He's been in the background, and I guess we're getting Nakamura and Knight again now, and I'm fine with that. The match will be great, I'm sure. But I don't really care for it. Truthfully, at this point, I'd be stunned if the United States Championship is even on the line at WrestleMania. In at number 4, mid-card champions don't need to be involved in Elimination Chamber qualifying. I mean, unless the plan is for them to actually be in the match, there's zero reason for them to actually be in a qualifying match for it. All it does is mean they'll lose, and it'll make the titles, which are brand new in the women's division, look weak. Now, in the case of Lyra Valkyria on this past week's episode of Raw where she lost to Bayley, I do think they're going to do something between her and Bayley, potentially some sort of fatal four-way with Io Sky as well at WrestleMania, so I guess that makes sense. But I cannot see Chelsea Green versus Naomi being the plan for WrestleMania, and if they do the same for both, that's kind of a bit lazy. I mean, truthfully, I wouldn't have done either of these matches. Like, you could have gotten to the Fatal 4-Way another way. You didn't need Lyra to take a loss. You certainly didn't need Chelsea Green to take a loss. And from here, the titles are both locked a lot weaker than they did this time last week. I'm not exaggerating, right? Like, the titles will be fine. I'm not saying, oh, they're ruined or anything like that. But it's just unnecessary. Like, there was no advantage to doing it. They have a deep women's roster. There was other people they could have used. So it's not even like a thing where they were out of options. In at number 3, the Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax feud has become a mess. Tiffy, for better or for worse, turned on Nia Jax. She betrayed her, she cashed in on her. So Nia Jax should have been absolutely furious. But she just wasn't, and instead she targeted Rhea Ripley. Eventually, of course, they did get back to this feud, but the fact that she went away and first challenged Rhea Ripley took all the momentum away from it, and that sucked, because this feud, this storyline, had a year of build-up. And last night's match between the two ladies was absolutely brilliant. I was thoroughly enjoying it. I think Wade Barrett called it a banger in the words of Sheamus, and I'd have to agree until the finish. At Elimination Chamber, we are now going to see Nia and Candice against Tiffany and Trish Stratus. And I do think that has the potential to be a really fun match, and I'm really excited to see Trish Stratus in action. But here's the thing, this likely means we're not going to see Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton again before WrestleMania. Because, of course, after the Chamber, they're going to have to focus on the Charlotte and Tiffy feud, right? So this will mean they spent a year building Nia and Tiffy, and there's no definitive outcome. Like, Nia should just be fuming. She shouldn't be able to stop thinking about Tiffy. She betrayed her. She lost her trust. I mean, I just don't understand what went wrong and how it went so wrong in this story. But yeah, all that being said, I am still really excited to see Trish Stratus back in action, so I'm not going to complain too much, but they did fumble this a little bit. But before we get into the top 2 key findings, if you guys could like and comment on this video, and subscribe if you haven't already, that would mean an awful lot to me. Here at Wrestling Republic, we create between 5 to 10 free videos every single week. And in addition to that, we also have a live daily stream at 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 12 p.m. Pacific in the US. So we'd love to see you guys there. Thank you. In at number 2, Tiffy versus Charlotte has the potential to be a banger feud. It's official, Charlotte has chosen Tiffy for WrestleMania, and yes, it was fairly obvious. Yes, I'm a little bit surprised at how they've actually announced it, but yes, I'm 100% on board with it. After the promo that the two had last week, I was like, yeah, I'm sold. I want this to be the match. I mean, at the end of the day, Tiffany really wants to step out of Charlotte Flair's shadow. Ever since she was in NXT, people have been making those comparisons. They've been saying she's the next Charlotte Flair. She's a Charlotte Flair wannabe. Well, Tiffany wants to distance herself from those. But from Charlotte's perspective, the fans have turned on her. People aren't really caring for her anymore. She's been gone for over a year. She has a lot to prove. She needs to prove that she hasn't been replaced by Tiffany Stratton. So this in many ways is must win for both of them. Honestly, and this is a burning hot take, but I actually think Charlotte maybe needs to win it more than Tiffy does, because I think Tiffy could get a win down the line and be fine. But I'm so on board with this feud. I'm so excited for WrestleMania, and the promos between the two in the next few weeks I think is going to be absolutely exceptional. Oh, and the match at WrestleMania I do think is going to be a banger as well. And in at number 1, Fatu needs a main event push after WrestleMania. When he first signed with WWE, I really don't think the plan was for him to become a main event star. I thought they thought he was going to be a good hand, a good mid-carder, but he has ended up having one of the best debut years in quite some time. He has a fantastic look which is unique. He has been phenomenal in the ring. He's been a great promo as well. And he also has that thing which you can't really explain. You can't really put your finger on. A lot of people call it aura, so let's just say that. But he has it. And honestly, the past month, he has genuinely been my favourite part of SmackDown. He has been, to me, the best part of Friday Night SmackDown. And if I'm being honest, I'm sorry, Solo, but I do think they should kick Solo out of this group, and post-Mania, Fatu should be the leader. I'd honestly have Fatu go on and win Money in the Bank or King at the Ring and be drafted to Raw following WrestleMania, and at that point, win the World Heavyweight Championship around next summer. And I know some people are frustrated he didn't qualify for the Chamber match, but right now it is Damian Priest's time. I do think that was the right choice, but this time next year, it needs to be Fatu's time. But now let's get into the pros and cons from last night's SmackDown to summarize it all. The opening promo with Cody, McIntyre, and Fatu was a great start, and I love the tease of a tension between Fatu and Solo Sikoa. Naomi versus Chelsea Green was a really fun match for what it was, and so was Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Garza. The Miz and LA Knight had a great promo as well. The match was fine, it wasn't anything overly special, but that promo was a highlight of the night. And Nello got another win, and this time a lot faster, so the tides are turning for him, which is undoubtedly a pro. Tiffy versus Charlotte, until the ending, was a hell of a match as well. And the main event, the triple threat match, Braun, Fatu, and of course Damian Priest, was a super fun end to the show, a super chaotic main event, and again, I love the teases between Fatu and Sikoa. As for the cons, the Nakamura promo was weak, and the what chance certainly didn't help it. Chelsea Green losing, again, a mid-card champion losing, I just don't think it's necessary. And the DQ in Tiffy versus Nia Jax, again, unnecessary. But overall, again, this was one of the better 3-hour SmackDowns. Every week they are improving a little bit when it comes to these 3 hours, but I do still prefer the 2 hours. I'll give it a thumbs up overall, but let me know what you guys thought of the show down in the comments down below. Now I'm off to watch the Arsenal game. Hopefully we get the win, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!